The boil has ended. As we suspected from the pre-boil gravity, we were off.
We were far more efficient than we thought. We had a higher gravity than we thought.
So just before the end of the boil, we added 3 liters of water, which is what Doug told us through his calculations.
Sterilized water.
Sterilized
water. That's very important.
Yeah. And that brought us to within 1 point of what we wanted. We wanted 1.053 and we got 1.054.
Yeah, so
I think that's pretty good.
Yay, science.
So kill the power on the boiler.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay.
Cool. And got to get that hop basket out.
Oh, yeah. Watch your fingers. It's like fishing. Do you have
longer tongs?
Yeah. There we go.
You need like a coat hanger or something.
Actually, do you have no.
It's done.
Good enough.
So now the power's off, you can turn on the water for the chiller.
Full blast?
Full blast.
All right.
So this is a garden hose coming into the chiller jacket and then leaving through here. It should chill us down in about 15 to 20 minutes. The municipal water here is pretty chilly. It's between like 57 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So this will chill down quickly.
Pretty fast.
And what temperature do we want to get it to?
Your pitching temperature is probably about anywhere between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
I like to go right down the middle. 65.
65?
Yep. If you can get it down that low, that's ideal.
So we'll take it to 65.
Yeah.
And we want to drop the temperature really quickly so we avoid infection, right?
That's correct. Right.
There's a danger zone.
Yeah, well, the thing is about this sugary water here is that at a certain temperature, bacteria loves it. But as long as we get the yeast in there first, yeast is stronger than bacteria and will take over.
Right.
But if we put the yeast in too soon, if it's too hot, we'll kill the yeast.
One of the things I forgot is we need to, or we should, drop the tube out of the bottom.
Okay.
So
oh, gross.
How do you know when to stop?
apparently when it gets a little bit clearer coming out, like that's still pretty muddy, huh?
Yep. There's a lot of hops in there though, remember that.
There, I think that's it.
So imagine you didn't have that basket with the hops in it.
What would be in there?
Be all green. It would just be a mess. Like, look at that.
So that's protein?
It's protein and hop material.
Hop material.
Some of the hop, like that cylinder, it has a mesh on it, but it's not fine enough to capture all of the dust from the hops. So that's why that's slightly tinted green.
So we're at 70.8.
I think that's close enough. I mean, it's not, it could go lower, but it's a little bit warm today. So if you can keep this chilling, I think it'll be fine.
We'll keep it attached to the chiller. I think we're going to ferment at 68.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep it.
But it's at a bright temperature now. The yeast will be pretty healthy, and it'll do its thing.
So let's pitch that yeast.
So
So you sanitize the outside of the yeast package?
I did. I sprayed it.
Sanitizing with scissors. So
Sanitize
basically,
with
you want to sanitize anything that's going to touch or come in contact with the beer at this point.
Correct.
And I notice you're just going to pitch the dry yeast right in. Okay.
With dry yeast, it's pretty robust, and there's enough cells in here that it'll be fine. So just dumping it right in there. If you have liquid yeast, it probably should do a starter at least 24 to 48 hours. And if you have a stir plate, which is basically mix it with a little bit of starter, and it has a magnet on it that stirs it. It's kind of cool.
It's just a magnet on a computer fan.
Exactly, it's a magnet on a computer fan, but it agitates it just enough that it keeps it like bubbling and working.
Okay.
So
this
yeast is in.
So this is the lid.
I only partially sanitize it, so you can.
Okay. So
you'll have to give it the full. Because I sanitized the spot where I put the yeast packet.
Okay. So there's two ports on the lid as I make a lot of noise. One for the blow-off tube, and then one is you can put a pressure valve, but I don't think we'll put a pressure valve. Okay. We'll just put a
Do you need to sanitize the gasket at all?
No, it's
No?
been heat sanitized and it's fine. Although you just touched it, but
You sanitized this already?
when-
My hand had sanitizer on it.
yeah, so we're fine.
Okay.
You can blow a little sanitizer across it if you want.
Where's the bottle?
Yeah, we'll stick it on. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so the lid goes on, and we'll tie it down.
This literally feels like we're locking Houdini into a milk crate. Is this
And
the
I'll get
Apple
a-
Box 5 or the Apple Box 4S? I'm sorry, bad joke.
This is the Apple Box 8.
Ooh.
Nobody else has it yet.
Okay, I was going to say, do you clamp that down?
Yeah.
You do.
There you go, just like that.
That is actually pretty fancy. What's going on here?
I'll do it more. There you go.
So when fermentation stops 7-8 days from now,
Yep.
I'm gonna dry hop it.
Yes, so you'll want to take gravity readings.
Yep.
At least, I mean, depending on how vigorous the fermentation is, it's usually done after about between 4 and 6 days. So take a gravity reading and then take another one 24 hours later, and if it hasn't moved, you're good to draw. You're good. I mean, if there's a little bit of activity, you're still okay.
Okay.
Most of the volatility, like when it's vigorously bubbling away, if you dry hop, then you're going to lose all of your aromatics. And it's very important that when you do put your hops in for dry hopping, that you only leave them in for 3-4 days max, and then cold crash the whole thing. So bring the temperature right down to almost refrigeration temperature.
Cool.
All of the particulate matter that's in there will drop to the bottom, along with all of the hop that's in there. So that's a very important when you're doing any kind of dry hopping.
So that's what we'll do, and I guess month from now, you'll come back and we'll taste it and see what happened.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Cool. Great day, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.